Angelina, who's that? That is Marcus Flint, the Slytherin captain. They say he's got troll blood in him. Hi guys, and welcome to Vlogmas. I thought that it would only be fair to share with you a little bit about acting, why I became an actor, how I became an actor, and go from there. When you say that you're an actress to people, you get a lot of questions. So, you're an actress? And they're not always positive. So what have you actually been in? They are often slanted with some sort of judgment or pity. Did you have any lines? There's lots of curiosity, but there is this air of doubt about your choice and your decision and whether you really are an actress. So, when do you think that you're gonna give up? And so what sort of things have you done then? Have you been in EastEnders? They'll say things like, so you obviously you want to be in EastEnders, right? I guess that's your like big goal. And then they'll look at you. How much would you say you'd earn for doing an episode of EastEnders? And you kind of end up feeling like you're slightly judging yourself a little bit. It's a tough job that, isn't it, you know? But that I always find interesting. I want to share how it's, no matter how much you think it might go a particular way, that you might expect your journey to go a particular route, it will not end up like that at all, how you thought it would, how you planned it, ever. I would bet you a cheesecake. But I was 9 and I'd seen Beaches and I was in awe with Bette Midler. The way she like made me cry and laugh and feel things that I didn't even know existed when I was 9. You ever know that you're my hero? I just remember thinking like, I want to do that. Like it was never about being famous. It was, you know, I wanted to, and it sounds so corny, but I just know at 9 it was I wanted to make people feel the way she'd made me feel. You ever know that I could fly? It seemed like the easiest thing in the world. It was like, well, this is my fate. This is what the universe is telling me. It's obvious I'm meant to be an actress. I just assumed that it was quite easy. If you wanted to be an actress, you'd audition and you get the job. I didn't know that there'd be a hard slog down the line or that it was actually a really competitive industry. I was naive to it, and kind of that naivety luckily kept me in the industry as long as it did, but also kept me booking, because you go and you're quite blasé about it. We found out that we had these auditions for this Warner Brothers production, and it was a kid's book being remade, and we had no idea what that book was. So we go to this audition, and this one was about whether we looked right, had the right height, was the right age. And then we had a second audition when we went to Leavesden Studios in Watford, and we were greeted by this really friendly, kind of short, dark-haired man, and he was like, right, I want you to do roly-polies and cartwheels, and I was like, I've got this down. If this is an audition, I'm sorted, because I can cartwheel my heart out. And then he was out of the few left. He was like, right, I want you, and you to be my Quidditch team, and you are going to be Angelina Johnson. I am Angelina Johnson. I didn't know who Angelina Johnson was. And I fly in the Quidditch team for Gryffindor. I didn't know what Quidditch was. Harry Potter. The short guy happened to be Christopher Columbus, who had directed Mrs. Doubtfire. If anyone had told me at the time that that who was judging our roly-polies, I would have pooed myself and probably messed up all my roly-polies and cartwheels. I was very lucky, but I didn't appreciate how awesome it was to be Angelina Johnson flying on a broomstick, scoring in Quidditch, getting knocked down the tower by the Slytherin boys. And I didn't even figure how amazing it was that my face was like massive in the cinema. Like, I didn't get it at all. And whether it was ignorance or whatnot, I didn't do the fourth film. And then I just remember a girl then replaced me, and then a couple of years later she was Chelsea in EastEnders, and I remember thinking, oh my god, that could have been me. I should have done the fourth film, and then I would have been in EastEnders, and my life will have been made. So you want to be in EastEnders, right? I guess that's your like big goal. Lots of people use Harry Potter as my claim to fame. They're like, oh god, Harry Potter was you know the best job that you ever had, and you know people query and question why you are working in a bar, and you end up questioning why you're working in a bar. The problem is, people tell you all the time to trust the journey, to, you know, if it's meant for you, it will happen. If it's your right path, it will happen. But you end up sucked into this world where you are so adamant that that's the only thing that you can do. It's the only job you want to do. There's nothing else. And you spend all this time devoting all your effort and energy into this one particular genre of something, and you kind of don't give your time to anything else. It's all about booking the job, because when jobs stop coming in, when you stop booking, you're desperate to book. And I just needed to book a job. Like, be it Hollyoaks, be it EastEnders, be it Coronation Street, I just needed to book a job. And you end up wanting to book the job to prove a point, to prove yourself to other people, to prove your worth, for you to feel like you're good enough so that you don't feel like you're a crap actress. You kind of end up chasing this thing so bad, and you give off this aura in auditions of this neediness, this I need to book this job, I need it so bad. And I remember being 24, sitting in a car with my mum. I said to her, I was like, I know it's gonna work out for me and you don't believe it will. And she believed it would, but she was just so scared for me. The moment when you don't get the call, or you sort of confirm with your agent, they're like, no, they've gone with someone else. It literally feels like the end of the world. Then I went to LA, and I decided that I was going to go to LA, see what it was about. I went for a month. I managed to get an agent and a manager when I was over there, which is very lucky, and I was very grateful. And I went up for auditions for things that, you know, I just wouldn't get seen for in England. And then I went back and I lived in LA for a few months. I met a girl out there and we got on really well and we hung out, and we were lying in bed after a night out, and it was the morning, and we were like talking about, we're both actresses, you know, why we really want it and why we're doing it. And it was the first time I had this realisation that I actually didn't know. I actually didn't think I did want it that much. I was like, oh, I don't know if I actually do want it. I want it to prove a point and to show everyone I haven't been wasting my time, and to feel like I've got purpose and a career and that life is great. But do I actually want to act? And I came back with this really solid answer of, well, not enough. I don't want it enough to have my life be put on hold for another 10 years, because that's what it felt like. Working a rubbish temp job, not enjoying what I'm doing, just trying to make money and pay my rent, it wasn't enough for me to warrant all the effort I was putting in. It wasn't I didn't want to act anymore, I just didn't want to put in all of that effort and all of my energy and all of my time and all of this soul into something that I felt I enjoyed other things just as much, if not more. And I came back and I decided to get a PT job that I knew I could work around if I wanted, but basically I left my agent and I just spent time doing my PT job and working in the fitness industry and using social media to try and, share any info that I had about my fitness journey. And I found myself loving my life more than I have ever loved it ever. I realised I was my own boss. I didn't have to go in on Mondays. I finished work early on Fridays. I got paid decent money. I could shop in other places other than Primark. I could pay my rent without having to borrow it. It was so liberating. And not only those practical things, I actually enjoyed working with people. I actually enjoyed training people, and it's been the best job I think I've ever had. Harry Potter was cool, and I know it has a lot of prestige about it. It's Harry Potter. But this job brought me contentment. I have never felt in my whole adult life content. I've always been chasing, searching for myself, for a good job, for money, and it was like suddenly all of those things came together and something just felt right. I then decide during this time that I'm in a good place and I get another agent. I don't go up for much, and after 6 months she dumps me. And I was just about a day out from doing a fitness competition, and I remember getting the message and my ego was like, I go on holiday to Bali after the competition and I'm there, and a week later somebody who I worked with when I was 19, so very many years ago, asked if I was still acting. She tells me about this job with a YouTuber, a gamer, who I hadn't heard of before because I'm not YouTube savvy. I knew about Zoella, and that was about it. Insert Dan TDM. So, Daddy, tell me, can you play computer games?